What is the most powerful shadow work tool you have access to? This is something I like to call the...
If you can think and speak and write, you are absolutely deadly. Nothing can get in your way. It's the most powerful weapon you can possibly provide someone with. There is nothing that will make you more powerful than your words.
So today we're going to talk about not just words and symbols and how we can use them to shape the world around us and to shape our own psyche, right? Because we're talking about individuation. Ultimately, we're talking about shadow work and possibly the most important tool that you have at hand when it comes to shadow work, because this is the tool of tools. This is a collection of tools. This is your psychological multi-tool, you could say. Now here's a few examples from my psychological diet that have helped me out a lot and hopefully will help you out a lot as well. Let's add to that multi-tool the dumb phone. So my phone is technically a smartphone, but I only use it in dumb ways, quote unquote dumb. So that means no Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, just the camera and YouTube, right? That social media is something that helps me instead of hinders me. Basically, no media whatsoever on my phone. No media, no social media, except, again, for YouTube, and only those videos that are bringing me to the highest, right? When I'm doing it right. I'm not saying I do this perfectly, because I certainly don't, but it's helpful. And on the environment side of things, what I try my best to do is surround myself with beauty and things that represent where I want to be in life, right? So that can be, they could be posters, that could be art. For me, it's art for me as well. And this is kind of a strange one to talk about, but I'll put it this way. I don't wear gold ever in public, but on my own at home, I have a gold watch that I really like because of what it represents to me, right? Gold is symbolic of the highest, the heavenly, so to speak, the kingdom of heaven. And not only that, it's also symbolic of wealth, obviously. And I like all of those things. And I want my mind to be focused on the right things. And it also, it's a funny thing. In addition to the proverb, you are what you eat, what's the other one? The clothes make the man. And I think that's true to a degree, right? The things that you wear, it's a part of your environment, right? The things that you wear, the house that you live in, the way you decorate it, the watch you wear, that's communicating something, yes, to the world, but more importantly, to me at least, is what it's communicating to yourself. And so I choose to wear certain things in the privacy of my own home that are communicating specific things to me, that are communicating things like you are prosperous, you are a wealth maker, you are this, you are that. Psychologically, I believe this is able to produce powerful results. And the verdict's actually still out on that one because I only recently started doing this when I really kind of started taking that Jungian idea to heart that the environment is an extension of your mind. I ended up buying a new car that I really love. I ended up buying this watch and certain things. Like, I don't want to get too materialistic with it. And truly, the person that is free of materialistic desires is way, way better off than the person who has to consistently try to keep up with the Joneses. There's a balance here, but I do think that these things can be psychologically helpful. Another example from my psychological diet is visualizations. Visualizations and self-talk, right? I'm generating these symbols in my mind. I'm generating these symbols and these words and even speaking these words in front of the mirror. And gosh, I cannot tell you how effective that is. I've been doing that for a very long time, and it is so incredible. I can't recommend it enough. So self-talk, I'm talking about like affirmations, and it's got to be a very specific kind. At least for me, it just doesn't work, saying stuff like, I am a wealth magnet, I attract all of the wonderful blessings and finances and healthy relationships into my life. Like, these types of affirmations don't really do anything for me. Like, to me, they have to be more grounded and rooted in reality and actionable, I guess. I did cover that in a past video, so I won't go into too much depth on that here, but yeah, affirmations, self-talk, visualizations, incredibly powerful. I should speak to timing a little bit here. In terms of my psychological diet, timing is huge. So morning is my quiet time. Morning is my meditative time. Not to say that I meditate in a traditional sense, but that means no emails, no messages, no business early in the morning, right? I have a very almost sacred time where I do my rituals. I do my morning routine. I won't go into tons of detail on that. I might do a video on that in the future. If you're interested, let me know. But timing, that is when you allow yourself to consume certain types of information and when you allow yourself to project certain types of information, it's pretty key. When you first get up and when you're just about to fall asleep, those are the times when your unconscious mind is most impressionable. And you can really imprint on your subconscious like what you want it to do, what you want it to become. You can really form it and shape it. I've seen the results in my life from doing that. Focusing on those visualizations and affirmations and self-talk early in the morning as well as in the evening right before you fall asleep. It's amazing what it can do. Another thing that I do that this is similar to Tesla's routine of receiving information from elsewhere, let's say, from above. This may be kind of a weird one to some people, but I like to listen. And in my framework, I say I listen to God. And I might be wrong. It might not be coming from some higher source. It might just be my unconscious mind, right? Or my higher self. I don't know precisely what it is, but when I listen, I get answers. I ask and I receive. I seek and I find. I knock and the door is opened. So this works for me. And it's another one of those things that I cannot stress the importance of enough. This is just as important, probably more important. No, I'm going to say definitely more important and more effective than self-talk and affirmations and visualizations, as powerful as those things are. This is what Jordan Peterson does, actually. It's his version of prayer. Now, I think he actually prays to God, but his version of prayer used to be a little bit more Jungian in nature.
People often ask me if I pray. I've suggested a form of prayer, which I would say I do engage in, and that is to, practically speaking, to do something like sit on the edge of my bed or on the edge of a chair and to think, there's probably something that I'm doing wrong or not doing well enough, that I'm being blind to, that I could fix and that I would fix. And you have to sit and ask. And I think it's the reflection of the New Testament idea that if you knock, the door will open, and if you ask, you will receive. I think what it means is that if you actually want to know something, and you actually want to devote yourself to something, if you're willing to make the proper sacrifices, right, and reorient yourself, that you can move towards what you're aiming at. And I can tell you that if you ask yourself in all humility how it is that you could be better and what you could do in a small way to move in that direction, that first of all you will receive an answer about what you're doing wrong. You'll find out. And then if you do that, then you won't be lesser, and that works. And one of the things Carl Jung, the famous psychoanalyst, said about modern people, which I loved, was that modern people can't see God because they won't look low enough. And a lot of that lowness is internal. So you need that thing that you're lacking, and then you can work on it. And then things get better. And as they get better, they tend to get better and better. And so that's very practical and very much in keeping with psychotherapeutic practice and wisdom. And I would say with ancient wisdom in general.
Another part of my psychological diet is my physical diet. I only eat meat. Or actually, that's not 100% true. I've added some veggies in basically when I feel like I need them. When my body seems to be craving them, I eat carnivore, but sometimes I eat some onions, for example. And that's been an incredibly effective diet for me because it gives me mental clarity like never before. And the same thing happened to me on keto. Like, I just don't get brain fog anymore. Like, I used to get brain fog. I used to get a little bit sluggish at certain times of the day, especially after I eat, lunch. But now on the carnivore diet and only eating once per day, right, the intermittent fasting, I only eat once, and that's in the evening. So I'm operating in a fasted state all day, and my work is off the charts. I get way more done. I'm able to communicate infinitely more clearly, and I feel more energetic. I feel like I have more vitality, energy. I feel great. Oh, and my blood work is good. Obviously, you need to keep up on those things if you're trying these admittedly strange diets. In addition to those things, shadow work, right? The methods and routines that I've gone into depth on in this channel, that's a part of my psychological diet, because what I'm doing is I'm typically asking myself questions and searching for the results. And when I identify, when I realize a certain shadow aspect, I have to do something about it. And the way I do something about it is through symbols, through words, through thoughts, and even through feelings and emotions that, yes, you can actually generate on command. It's a muscle that's not very strong at first, but if you keep working at it, you can actually generate feelings of peace, of contentment, of joy, of whatever it is, and you can hold on to those feelings for extended periods of time. And I've found that incredibly helpful because let's say you're anxious or you're stressed or you're worried. If you're able to generate the opposite emotions of peace, joy, etc., like you're able to crowd out those other emotions. It's very effective. Yeah, it's powerful. Okay, and last but far from least, this is one of the most important ones, of course, I have the scriptures. I read the Bible. I read the Bible a lot, and that is an essential part of my psychological diet because I truly believe that the Bible is jam-packed with ancient wisdom that trumps everything else. I really think that it trumps everything else, and I've read a lot, right? I've tried these other scriptures, and there's a ton of truth in those as well, and I really like a lot of them. But maybe it's just in my genetics. It's hardwired into me. I'm Western at the core, and I love the Bible. It just works for me. So yeah, that's a few examples from my psychological diet. Oh, and last but not least, I want to talk about gamifying your mental diet. So one of the things that you can do, this is a pretty cool technique. In the Fallout games, right? Fallout 1, 2, 3, 4, 29, whatever else there is, they have this thing called the special acronym. Right? This has to do with the skills that you're trying to improve and build up. And so special stands for strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. I like to use this acronym, actually a modified version of this, to decide what information I want to focus on at a particular period in my life. And like on a daily basis, basically what you do is you look at that acronym that you have written out in a Google Doc, mine is actually, and you say, okay, which one of these do I want to prioritize today? Which two? Which three? And in general, over the next decade, which of these do I want to be strongest at? And you can change something like, for me, endurance, for example, is not like physical endurance, but is mental endurance. And it means resilience, relentlessness. That is at the very top for one of the most important ones to me, easily. And so I focus a lot on learning how to be relentless, how to be resilient. And that means the information that I prioritize, that I allow into my mind, is going to be what? Well, YouTube videos on how to be persistent, how to be relentless, the psychological tools and tips and tricks to become more disciplined, right? Because that's a huge part of being relentless. Right? You're not going to feel like it. You're not going to be motivated, 8 out of 10 times, like really motivated. You need to just be disciplined and just get the job done. And focusing on these things first thing in the morning, looking over this list and saying, okay, I want to focus on strength, perception. I want to focus on endurance. These are the things that I'm going to allow into my mind. I'm going to read Bible verses about these things. I'm going to find courses on these things and do these courses over the course of a month or 2 months or whatever it is. Where your attention goes, actions flow, and where actions flow, things grow. It's just how it works, right? This can be an incredible way to shield from your mind the things that are useless and only allow into your mind the things that will help you become the best version of you. And again, I just want to say this one more time because I think it's so important. Every single time I've reached some form of individuation in my life, every single time I truly believed that I had evolved in some sense, psychologically, was when I was using this multi-tool properly, when I was using it well. This multi-tool of how to use symbols, how to use words. You are what you let in, you are what you let out, you are what you eat, what you put into your mind, and you are what you speak. Your psychological diet, becoming a great leader and manager of the various archetypes within, using this special acronym. These tools, all part of this psychological multi-tool, these are the most effective things that I've really come across. I really wanted to focus on this because I thought that this would be the thing that allows you to transform the most in the shortest period of time in the best way possible. Like, I really believe that this is going to help a lot of people, and so I'm pretty stoked about it.
That's all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. It means a lot to me. It does a lot for the channel, and thank you so much. If you do, I will see you in the next one. That's my kid in the background.